Hi, folks. I'm joined today by one of our newest franchisees. So I'm going to ask him where in the world he operates from and to introduce himself by sharing his name as well. So over to you.
Yeah, hi Nick, and hi everyone. My name's Devenish, and we operate in the Mildenhall territory in Suffolk.
Yep, very nice place it is too. Yeah, excellent. And what did you do
Yeah.
before you decided to buy a EweMove franchise, Lee?
So 28-year career in transport and logistics recruitment, with the last 15 years spent working in franchising, but for the franchisor.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So almost like gamekeeper turned poacher or the other way around, whichever way you look at it.
yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, I saw how successful franchisees could be. So yeah, it seemed like the obvious choice for me.
Yeah, okay. So why step out of that sort of long career and experience into agency? What was the prompt for that?
Well, I wanted to run my own business again, and I'd seen how successful franchisees could be. So it needed to be a franchise business because after being in recruitment for over 20 off years, 25 years, I did want a complete change. I wanted to do something completely new, to feel infused by something, I guess.
Hmm.
EweMove was recommended to me actually by a business colleague of mine, somebody I've worked closely with for a very long time. And when I looked at the model in terms of the royalties and what support and the access to the systems and everything else, and then I did my due diligence on EweMove as a business, it was pretty much a no brainer for me. But I think for anyone coming in, the icing on the cake for me was the culture.
Hmm.
It from the very beginning, every single person at EweMove has just been so positive about the brand and the product. Just the service you guys provide. And I was sold anyway. But
Hmm.
then from the first conversation with Katie onwards, it's just been a really positive
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, that's good, really good. And how did you find, the training experience as well, Lee? Because as you'll know from your experience, when people buy a franchise, part of the package, I guess, is the quality of the training. So how did that compare to what you expected, I guess?
It was really good. I think the it was very detailed and comprehensive in terms of what was covered. I think it's really important that people understand that this is a relationship business, and that
Hmm.
came across really, really well in the training. And people might be put off by the fact that it's a sales job, but it isn't. It's not a sales job at all. It's about building relationships with
Hmm.
people and delivering on what you've said you will. So I think that came across really well. There was a lot of focus on understanding people and how they think, which was really interesting and stuff. I've done quite a lot of stuff on that before, but it was a different kind of a different approach to it. The way Wayne and the team went through it during the training. Um, the only thing I would say is I would have. This is just a personal preference, but I probably would have preferred to have done all the training closer together.
Hmm.
But I do understand why you do the day on, day off, day on, day off, because
Yeah,
it can be a lot to take in, can't it?
it
So,
can absolutely.
but yeah, it was
Yeah.
quality of the training was fantastic,
Yeah, that's
really
good.
good.
And of course, it doesn't necessarily end just with the induction training because what we call it now is orientation program, that initial training, because it's
Yeah,
literally just the start point, and there's loads more to come over time, which is really good.
yeah.
Um,
I think I've learned just as much following the training from speaking to different people in
mhm,
marketing and people like Ed and Wayne than I did on the training itself. It's
mhm.
but
Yeah,
every day's a learning day, isn't it?
it
So.
is absolutely right. Yeah, yeah, very good. So, what kind of goals or aspirations have you set yourself, Lee, for your business?
Um, so I think I've got two really. I think in the first 12 months, I want to grow the territory so that I become, that go-to agent in the area.
Hmm.
I think in my particular circumstances, there isn't a Yumi franchisee particularly close to me, and therefore I'm going to have to work really, really hard to get the brand out there, because nobody really knows who EweMove are. Certainly when I'm having conversations, it's not a problem at all because I can tell them exactly who EweMove are. That's not an issue. But I think that focus is to become that go-to agent in my area. There are having done the market and share analysis, there are 4 agents currently in my area with over 20 properties listed in my patch. And by the end of this year, I want to be one of those.
Yep.
And by the end of year 2, I want to be number 2 in my area. And number 2 because number 1's got 96 properties at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a little arrogant of me to be number 1, Nick.
Yeah, well, you'd keep you very busy.
Yeah. So, but number 2 would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not 2 by volume, but number 1 by customer reviews and success, of course.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. And I think kind of longer term, I'm really keen to expand. I love the fact that you guys allow franchise owners to buy a second territory, or I really support that. And one of the reasons, I've got a little list on my computer, the reasons I bought a EweMove franchise, and I'm always updating it with little things. And one of the reasons is I want to bring my family in.
Yeah.
My daughter lives in America. I want her to come home and to be able to give her something to do. She's in sales at the moment, so I want to buy another territory at least, and bring my children into the EweMove business, and perhaps also look at acquiring a little further down the line. Don't panic. But I want to look at acquiring a lettings business. So there are a lot of really good lettings business in this area because of Air Force bases. So I want to look at buying a lettings business to add to the portfolio. So
very good.
That's my plan.
Awesome, excellent. So big question then. So now you have that plan, you've done your training, you've launched and all that sort of stuff. How confident are you that you're going to be able to achieve those objectives?
I think I would say very confident. I think, my wife and I sat down before we decided to buy the business and said, why are we buying an estate agency? Lots of different reasons why we did. But the big question was, the technical side of it, the understanding of the paperwork and legislation and all the regulatory requirements. That was what was making me a little nervous pre-training. Following the training, I'm not nervous about that at all now. I know I can sell. I've always sold. For a quarter of a century, I've sold to businesses. But I understand the industry now. I understand the regulations, and I know that there is always someone at the end of the phone or at the end of an email if I get stuck with a left field curveball question. So I'd give myself a 9 out of 10, Nick. I think because there's always room for improvement.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Lee. That's a great little bit of background insight into your journey so far, and it's just at the very early stages, and I'm sure you'll be a fantastic success. So thank you, and congratulations on your first listing, which you were telling me earlier has gone live just today. So that's superb.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks ever so much for your time.